So, one of the most common requests I've been getting recently is for more Mac guide videos. So, today I want to show you a handful of built in Mac features that I think every Mac user should know. Now, these can help you get access to things faster, keep your important information organized, save things you may want to come back to later, and make reading on the web much more enjoyable altogether. All of this using the built-in browser that comes pre-installed on every single Mac. Of course, that's Safari. And I think you might be surprised at just how useful some of these really are. My name is Dan Fox, and I've been professionally helping people with technology for over 30 years. I'm here to help you get the most out of all of your Apple devices without all the confusing tech talk. Okay, let's jump right in. Now, some of these tips you may already know, but I'm willing to bet you'll find at least one or two that you start using right away. We're going to start, at the start page. Now, I'm working here with a freshly set up Mac, but when you first open Safari like this, or you open a new tab in Safari, you'll be greeted with the start page here. As you can see, it shows favorites, privacy report, and recently closed tabs, but you can customize this to show exactly what you want. I'm going to go down here to the bottom right-hand corner and select Edit. Now you'll see here the things I just mentioned, that's favorites, privacy report, and recently closed tabs is all showing because it's checked here. If I uncheck any of these, for instance, I'm going to uncheck privacy report, it will immediately disappear from the start page. And this holds true for anything I enable or disable here based on what I want to see on my specifically customized start page. The nice thing here is you're in complete control. You can customize this exactly the way you want it. Now, this part is not necessarily a productivity thing, but if you want to personalize things a bit here, you can change the background image too. Apple has some built-in backgrounds. If your Mac is newly set up like mine here, you may have to download those first by selecting here. But once it downloads, you'll notice that the background image is replaced here with the one you selected. There's quite a few options to choose from here. You can even use one of your own photos. If you swipe back over and hit this plus symbol right here, then over on the left, swipe down until you get to Photos, select that, then select the photo you want, and finally click Choose. Personally, I like to keep this really simple so it doesn't look too busy. And the one last setting I want to point out while we're on this tip is use Start Page on all devices. If you're signed into the same Apple account on your Mac, your iPhone, and your iPad, enabling this setting keeps your start page synchronized across all these devices. So once you've customized it here, you'll see the same layout everywhere you use Safari. Now that we've customized the start page, let's look at one of the sections you probably use the most. That's your favorites. Now, favorites are exactly what they sound like. That's the websites that you visit the most. Maybe it's your email, Amazon, maybe even YouTube, your bank, whatever sites that you find yourself opening most often. Now, you may notice that I've already added all of my personal favorites here on My Favorites, but for this demonstration, I'm going to add one more. I'm going to go up to the top, click up here, and type in the name of the website that I'm going to go to. So I'm going to go to danielfoxbooks.com, shameless plug. Once that website pulls up, I'm going to click this button right here, and then you're going to select Add Bookmark To. Once you select that, you'll get this pop-up here. You just want to make sure it says favorites right here in this section, which it should by default. Then you're just going to click add. Now that will have added Daniel Fox Books to your favorites. So now if I open a new tab by clicking plus and I can see my start page again, you'll see right there it's been added as a favorite. And if you decide later that you want your favorites to be in a different order here, you can just click and drag these around in whatever order you like. Okay, for this next one here, have you ever come across something online that you just don't have time to finish reading? Instead of leaving a tab open or hoping you'll remember to come back to it, Safari has a much better option, and it's called the reading list. To get to it, we need to open the sidebar. Now, if you've never clicked this button before, this is how you get to the sidebar. Once the sidebar is open, you'll see your bookmarks, the reading list, and some other items, but today I want to focus specifically on the reading list. People sometimes confuse reading list with bookmarks, but they're actually meant for two different things. Bookmarks are for websites that you want to save long term, websites you know you're going to come back to time and again. Reading list is really for things that you just want to come back to later, maybe once or twice, finish reading it, and then remove it from the list. I think of it almost like a reminders or to-do list for websites. So if you select the reading list here in the sidebar, you're going to see everything you've currently saved. Now, if you've never used this of course will be empty for you. Here's some things I have saved in my reading list. If you want to add something new to the reading list, all you have to do is go to the website that you would have been reading. In this case, I've gone to the sneeze.com, but I wanted to point out you can turn off the sidebar over here by clicking that button and still save things to your reading list by clicking this button here and then selecting Add to Reading List. It doesn't matter if the sidebar on the left is open or closed when you do this. But if you go back over and turn the sidebar on, assuming it was off, you'll notice right here at the top, the sneeze has been added to my reading list. Now, another really nice feature about the reading list is that it synchronizes across all of your Apple devices. So if you save an article here on your Mac, it'll also be available on your iPhone and your iPad if you have one, as long as they're signed into the same Apple account and you're using iCloud on all these devices. It makes it super convenient if you find something while you're working on your Mac, but you'd rather wait and read it later when you're on your iPhone or your iPad. And it works the other way around too, of course, and this is the way I use it the most, but let's say you're out somewhere, you're on your iPhone, you find an article, you add it to the reading list, and then when you get back home and you get back to your Mac, you can just pull it up from the reading list and read it there where maybe it's more comfortable, maybe you have more time. And once you're finished reading it, all you have to do is swipe left on it and then click on Remove. It'll disappear from the reading list across all of your devices. Once you use this one, I think you'll probably find that you're leaving far fewer websites open in Safari on your Mac. But before we continue, I want to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, PDNob. If you regularly work with PDFs on your Mac and you need more than just the built-in tools, PDNob is definitely worth checking out. It's an all-in-one PDF solution that lets you edit PDFs, of course. You can also convert them into other file formats without losing layouts, and you can create PDFs from other formats too. PDFnob can merge, split, and combine PDF files. You can even turn scanned documents into searchable and editable text, and it handles a huge variety of other PDF tasks, all from one single application. So instead of bouncing between different apps or online tools, everything is right there in one place, making it super convenient if you work with PDFs on a regular basis. It's even got smart AI tools for summarizing and translating text, yet it's still lightweight, affordable, and it works on Mac and Windows computers. No watermarks, everything looks totally professional. If you'd like to learn more, I'll put a link to PDNob at the very top of the description of this video, and I'll also pin it down below in the comments. Thank you again to PDNob for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to Safari. The next Safari tip we're going to talk about is called Reader. Have you ever been on a website that is so full of ads and banners or videos and other distractions that it's nearly impossible to focus? This is personally a pet peeve of mine, just being flooded with all that stuff, making it to where I almost can't read the article at all. The Reader quickly strips all of this away so you can focus on the content you want to read. Now, a quick note here, Reader is not available on every single website, and it doesn't usually work on the home page of a website, meaning you have to go to the website and then click the article you want to read before you have the option for Reader. But once you've opened the article, all you have to do is click up here in the menu bar and then select Show Reader. This makes everything super clean so you can focus specifically just on the article without all those annoying ads and video ads and all that distracting information popping up. It's a much cleaner reading experience, especially for longer articles. Again, I use this one all the time. Hey, if you're finding these Safari tips helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you take a second to like the video because it really does help my channel grow. And if you're new here, consider subscribing because I post new videos every week to help you get the most out of your Apple devices, along with the occasional review of Apple products I think that are totally worth your attention, all without all the tech jargon. I appreciate it very much. Now, the next Safari feature can actually save you quite a bit of time, especially if you scramble finding your passwords. Mom, I'm just kidding. Sort of. But if you're still typing out usernames and passwords every time you sign into a website, Safari can actually do this for you automatically. Now, the first time you sign into a website, Safari will ask you if you want to save the username and password. Now, this one's a little tricky to show because I have to blur out everything in terms of my email addresses and passwords. But as I'm typing in my email, you'll notice when I click passwords, this pop-up gives me the option to go to the passwords app. You can ignore that, just type in your password like you normally would. And as soon as you hit sign in, you'll get a pop-up here. This is Safari asking you if you wanted to remember your login and password and save that information in the passwords app of your Mac. If you hit save password, then the next time you come back to this site to log in, as soon as you click in the login field, it'll automatically pop up with your login information. Now, if you have a fingerprint scanner on your Mac or keyboard, you can use that to log in. Otherwise, it may ask you for your Mac password. But even if you don't have the fingerprint scanner and you have to put your Mac password in, that's one password you have to remember instead of separate ones for every website. And if you ever need to update a password or change a username or maybe even remove an old login, you can do all of this right there in the built-in Apple Passwords app. Again, this is a tricky one because I have to blur so much out here, but you go straight into the Passwords app and you can type in a search here in the upper right. In this case, I'm looking for Shutterfly, the website we were just on. I can hit this edit button right here, and then I can select in the username, which is the login information, the password. I can add notes and other information. I can even change the website name. Once I hit save, anytime I go back to that website, Safari will remember my login and password information that I've saved here. And if you ever want to delete a login and password from the Passwords app, you can simply right-click it, and then from the menu, select delete. Now, once all of this information is saved in the Password app, Safari keeps it synchronized across all your Apple devices using iCloud, so the same login and password is available on your Mac, your iPhone, and again, if you have one, your iPad. And I'll save you from all the tech jargon here as usual, but just know that your passwords being stored here in the Apple Passwords app is one of the absolute safest ways to keep your passwords. All right, this next one is a quick feature that can save you lots of time every day, and it's called Pin Tabs. If there's websites that you like to keep open, like Gmail, your calendar, again, maybe YouTube or Amazon, you don't have to keep reopening these every time you launch Safari. You also don't have to save them to your favorites because you still have to go there to open them if it's in your favorites. You can actually just pin these websites. Now, this one's incredibly easy to do, but in this scenario, you see I have two tabs open, Daniel Fox Books on the left and B&H Photo on the right. All I have to do is click and hold one tab and drag it over to the left until it gets to like a little icon, then let go. Now it's a pinned tab. If I do the same thing here, I can grab it, drag it to the left, let it go when it's an icon. Now it's another pinned tab. And these pinned sites will stay over here even if you close Safari or even reboot your Mac. Now, pinned websites stay over here in a tab on the left side, so they're always easy to get to without taking up much space. And they're a very nice way to keep your frequently used websites available without losing your place. If you decide later that you don't want one pinned anymore, just right-click it and choose Unpinned tab. So there you go. Those are my favorite Safari features that I think every Mac user should use. If you learned something new today, let me know down in the comments. I'd also be interested in hearing if you have a favorite Safari tip that I didn't cover in this video. I also wanted to take a quick moment to thank all of you for watching and helping me recently get to 1.5 million views and 40,000 subscribers. You all have been so amazing, and I genuinely appreciate every view, every comment, and every subscription for sure. I could not have reached this number so quickly without your support. Okay, take care, and I'll see you next time.